There is a village no one was meant to find, hidden behind a statue, guarded by soldiers who never left their post, sealed away in a realm the queen herself erased from the map. When the Tarnished finally reaches it, there is nothing there. No bodies, no survivors, no record of what happened to the people who once lived inside it. Just golden light, pouring over empty buildings, over flowers that still grow where no one tends them, over a single braid of hair, left at the foot of a grandmother's shrine by someone who knew she would never come back. That braid belonged to her, the goddess, the eternal, the one who built the golden order on the promise of grace and life and a world without death. She was born here, in this village, among these people, and she left them behind so completely that the only proof she ever existed among them is a handful of hair and a light that heals no one. This is not the story of what the world did to her people. This is the story of what she did. The village was empty before the Tarnished arrived. She made sure of that. She was not born a goddess. She was born a shaman, one woman among many, in a small tribe of Newmen who had settled in the land of shadow long before the Erdtree existed, long before the Golden Order had a name, long before anyone outside that valley knew or cared that they were there. The shamans were not warriors. They were not conquerors. They were something quieter. Women with a specific connection to the spiritual world, to ritual, to the kind of knowledge that does not come from books or battles but from something older. And they had one quality that made them valuable to the wrong people: their flesh. Shaman flesh melded harmoniously with other living matter. It merged, it adapted, it accepted what ordinary bodies would reject. In any other world, that would mean nothing. In the lands between, where the Hornsent were searching for a way to create something that had never existed before, it meant everything. The shamans did not know what they were to the people who ruled that land. They did not know they had been noticed, did not know they had been assessed, did not know that what made them spiritually gifted also made them useful as material. She was born into a people who were valued, just not in the way they deserved. The Hornsent did not kill the shamans. That would have been simpler. Instead, they took them, pulled them from their village, brought them to a place called Bonnie, where prisoners were processed, not executed. The rituals there were not quick. They were not merciful. They were designed with a specific outcome in mind. The shamans were cut apart. Their flesh, that harmonious, adaptive, merging flesh, was stuffed into jars, packed in, compressed, left to fuse with whatever else was inside. The Hornsent called the result a saint, a being reborn through the merging of flesh and vessel, something higher than human, something closer to the crucible they worshipped. None of them survived intact. The creatures found inside those jars, fleshy, writhing, barely recognizable as the people they once were, are what remained of a culture, of a community, of women who had done nothing except exist in the wrong place with the wrong kind of body. She was young when this happened to her people. She saw what the Hornsent made of them. She understood what her own flesh meant to the people who ruled that land, and she remembered. They were not persecuted because they were weak. They were persecuted because they were useful. The two fingers found her, not her tribe, not her people, her. Among all the shamans, among all the Newmen who had survived or scattered or hidden, something in her was recognized as different, as having potential that went beyond ritual knowledge or spiritual gift. She was Empyrean, a being capable of becoming a vessel for the Elden Ring, capable of ascending to godhood, capable of rewriting the laws that governed the world. That recognition came with an offer and an escort. Malekith, her half-brother, her shadow-bound beast, was assigned to her, not as a companion, as a designation, a signal from the system that she had been chosen and that the system intended to protect its investment. She now had a path, up, away from the village, away from the jars, away from the land where her people had been torn apart and stuffed into vessels and called saints by the people who destroyed them. All she had to do was take it, and she did. What she left behind to do so, the tribe that raised her, the women who survived, the grandmother at the shrine. The lore does not record her saying goodbye. It does not record a promise to return. It does not record hesitation. It records an ascension. The two fingers chose one woman from a destroyed people. She accepted. That is all the lore says. That is enough. The gate of divinity did not open easily, ascending to godhood, becoming a vessel for the Elden Ring, replacing whatever came before, required more than potential, more than the designation of the two fingers, more than a shadow-bound beast at your side. It required access, and access required the Hornsent, the same people who stuffed her tribe into jars, who processed shamans like raw material, who built their civilization on the harmonious flesh of people they considered beneath them. She needed them, or she used them. The lore calls it a seduction and a betrayal. Those are not accidental words. A seduction implies she gave them something they wanted. A betrayal implies they trusted her before she took it back. What exactly she offered, what exactly she promised, is never stated directly, but the shape of it is visible. She reached the gate of divinity. She ascended. She became the vessel, and then the Hornsent, the people who had helped her get there, who had allowed her into the space where godhood was possible, found themselves on the other side of a door that was now closed, permanently. They called it a betrayal because that is what it was. She had what she needed from them. And what they needed from her, acknowledgement, inclusion, a place in the order she was building, never came. It never came because she never intended it to. She did not climb over her enemies to reach godhood. She climbed over the people who thought they were her allies. Most channels cover what she built. This one covers what she buried to build it. If that's the version you want, subscribe. The Golden Order did not emerge from nothing. It emerged from a specific sequence of decisions, each one building on the last, each one requiring the previous betrayal to function. She ascended on the Hornsent's access. She sealed death using a power taken from a rival she erased. She built an empire using a first Elden Lord she would eventually discard. And underneath all of it, underneath the Erdtree and the grace and the promise of eternal life, was the village, the shamans, who never came home, the flesh that was taken and processed and stuffed into jars in the name of someone else's ritual. The tribe whose specific biological gift, that harmonious merging flesh, is exactly what made her capable of becoming a vessel for an outer god. She did not just survive what happened to her people, she used it. The same quality that made shamans valuable to the Hornsent made her valuable to the greater will. The Golden Order was not built despite her origins, it was built because of them. Every soul that returned to the Erdtree's roots, every life that cycled through the system she designed, every person who knelt beneath that golden tree and called it grace, none of them knew what the roots were fed by. She did not escape her origins. She monetized them. She went back once, not to rebuild, not to find survivors, not to explain what she had done or why she had done it, or what it had cost the people who raised her. She went back to leave something behind, a braid of hair, cut from her own head, placed at the foot of the grandmother's shrine, and then she filled the empty village with golden light, the same light that blessed the lands between, the same light that promised grace and life and a world without death, poured over buildings where no one lived, over flowers that grew without anyone to tend them, over a shrine that had no worshippers left. The game does not record what she felt standing there. It does not give her a speech or a confession or a moment of visible grief. It gives her an action. She left hair, she left light, she left, and then she sealed the entire realm behind her, hid it behind a veil, sent her son to finish what the Hornsent had started, and made sure that no one who came after her would ever find what she had come from. The village was not destroyed by her enemies. It was hidden by her, the last surviving shaman, the one who made it out, the one who ascended, the one who became eternal, made sure her people would stay buried, not because she hated them, because she could not afford for anyone to know that she had ever been one of them. She did not erase her past because it was shameful. She erased it because it was dangerous, and she was very good at erasing dangerous things.